Good morning and welcome to Vital Health Radio, presented by the Vascular Institute and Vein Clinic on 98.1 Radio. Also available on all podcast platforms about 3 days after this radio show. So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover the healing potential of nature's pharmacy. Whether you're a seasoned natural health enthusiast or just starting your journey, there's something for everyone on Vital Health Radio. I'm Ed Jones, the founder of Nutrition World here in Chattanooga and growing since I opened it in 1979. And joining me is, and welcoming back, our wonderful co-host that is powered by his sarcasm, cynicism, and a questionable diet. He's also bald, but by choice. Yeah. Because Mother Nature gave him no other options.
Wow.
He's kind of stocky to be. He kind of has his own emergency airbag just in case he has a wreck.
All right, good.
And he's got more tattoos than a pirate convention, and each one tells a story. Most of them pretty badly misspelled on the tattoo.
Yeah, of course.
He does eat junk food like a competitive sport, but don't you put chocolate or cheese near him unless you want to see a man cry on air.
Wow.
So buckle up, assuming your seatbelt still works. It's time to welcome the man, the co-host, the Clint Powell. Welcome to Vital Health Radio.
All right, there's a couple quick things we got to get out of the way. First of all, longest intro in radio history. Everyone, we're time for our first break of the show. Second of all, what's scariest about that, ladies and gentlemen, if you could actually, somehow we had a video, is someone typed that out. That, as much as ad-libbed that may seem, he put thought into that derogatory rant as he started it. Yes. If you love me a lot then, because that's all I get from you. How you doing today? Because I've got some questions that I'm getting ready to ask you, but are you doing okay?
I'm doing well.
On a scale of 1 to... on a scale of 1 to purple, because you're always giving a stupid different way of saying how good you are. What are you today?
Okay. Physically, I'm a 10, as I normally am.
Okay. Cool.
Not normally, 90%.
Okay.
Emotionally, I'm about a 9.9.
All right.
Energy-wise, about 7, just because I did a wonderful IV ketamine with Scenic City Neurotherapy today. It's actually my 99th IV, so the world will be celebrating in 2 weeks when I do the 100.
All right. So just you and I, can we just practice this one more time? And then I got to ask you a serious question.
Okay.
You just came back from an event. Let's just practice like you're a normal human being. How you doing today, Ed?
I'm good. G-O-O-D.
There we
okay?
go. Nobody spells it, but that's good. That's way better. That's way better. Us normal folk don't spell stuff. That's okay. Way to go. I'm glad you're doing good. All right, so I got to tell you about this. You sent me this picture of you and one of my favorite people. We'll talk about that in a second. But before we talk about the picture, what event did you just go to? Because I knew you were going to speak, but I had no idea it was going to have that kind of power in it with the people that were there.
I did not either. I get this email about 5 months ago for inviting me to this conference called the NBJ, Nutrition Business Journal Conference. I had zero clue what it was, other than it was related to the industry that I'm in.
Right.
And they said, would you like to speak? I normally say no, but because I don't take enough time off, and it gave me an excuse to have a few days, and I do love speaking, but I had no idea that there would be over 400 people. Each of these people paid $5,000 to attend, and I was in the midst of big shots.
Yeah.
And I was very, very impressed with the 4 days of what I learned out there.
All right. Well, let's talk about the picture, and then I know you got a book too, and I think Cody's in here, so he'll get some pictures of this, and you can find this chopped up on social media platforms down the road. But you sent me a picture, and I know it wasn't the only one, but you got to meet Ben Greenfield. To me, and I've said this forever, and then I'm going to hand it back to you because we only got about 4 or 5 minutes in this first segment left already. Ben Greenfield, to me, is a international version of you. He is basically a guinea pig. If it's something that can prolong health, make your life better, make yourself heal, quality of life, he is going to inject it, inhale it, rub it on, try it, dunk himself into it. That's what he has done, and he has made a massive living. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast. He has just done that his whole life. You do that in a regional, local way, but I'm amazed that you two met. How was it meeting him, and what did you take away? And there's a couple of things you talked to me specifically about I'm going to bring up. But what was it like meeting Ben?
It was really cool. He's about 43, and I did get to ask him question and answer in front of the public, people attending, and I said, you are actually kind of my son because I'm the older version of you, Ben. And he said, well, if I told him about the nutrients I take and all the things, he said, well, they obviously help your mustache. And the crowd kind of laughed. Yeah. But he had on the display when he spoke for about 45 minutes, a few of his top therapies that he believes in.
Well, here's what reason I wanted to make this our first segment, transparency. We're kind of helping drive this part because there are things that you've talked about. I've heard you talk about these three things. And so you're a big believer in putting a team around you. What was one of them, one of the first ones you talked about? Was it the hyperbaric? Or
Hyperbaric. Yeah. He really pushed the benefit of hyperbaric chambers. What is that? That's actually being in an enclosed environment, but it's not claustrophobic. There's a lot of glass. You get to see out. And you're under pressure. Kind of your ears pop, but it's not uncomfortable, and you're breathing a very high level of oxygen. And in that, there's some huge health benefits that he was speaking about, and he does it every day or every other day, which is breathing pure oxygen in a pressurized chamber increases atmospheric pressure, but it delivers the oxygen levels to tissues far higher than you can ever do by deep breathing or running or anything else, but that reduces inflammation. It helps to mobilize blood flow. So a lot of people who are getting older, like myself at 68, we don't have what we had at 25 years old as far as blood flow, and it just is about an hour treatment. You can do it 1 or 2 times a week, and I see people who really are struggling with health concerns that are very serious, sometimes do very well, and we're very fortunate to have a oxygen retreat right below us at
That's what I was going to ask you. He came on the on the radio show a couple months ago. Yeah.
And his phone number is 423-490-9200. John Carter, 423-490-9200. So I'm on the bottom level of nutrition world. It's not my business, but it is somebody who I want to partner with because I believe in hyperbaric. So that was one of the three things.
Well, I've got a number 2, but real quick, how good is it for you to get some? And don't take too long on this because we got time. But how good was it for you to have? You don't need affirmation, but you're getting affirmation from somebody like Ben Greenfield that you've been on the right track. Those like-minded people who just seems to carry your same luggage with you.
You know, that's a wonderful question. I don't have Ed Joneses to talk to. I don't. I seem to be a solo person out there. I have a tremendous amount of people under me who all have their passion, but I'm kind of the astronaut out there at the far end of the line.
You're tethered to the principles, but you're still floating kind of by yourself.
By myself. It was a breath of sunshine. Yeah. It truly was. I mean, he wrote this book, just came out, called Boundless. This is a humongous book. I said, how long did it take you to write that, Ben? He said 3 years. When I started looking through here, this is like a half medical textbook. The guy's a genius, and you can order that online now. It just came out.
The second thing, though, red light therapy.
Red light therapy.
I've asked you about this before. I dabble in it a little bit, but what was his take on it?
Well, first off, it was 2 thumbs up. Based on research. He's not a guy who's going to do it just because it sounds cool.
Right.
He digs into the research and knows that it's valid or he won't do it. He's like myself. I weigh risk against benefit. And on that red light therapy, which also is available at the Oxygen Retreat downstairs, this is a therapy using a specific wavelength of light. I think it's about 680 nanograms. Something like that. But it stimulates collagen. That's the number one reason people do it. But it also keeps your skin cells very healthy. Sometimes, unhealthy skin cells can reverse because you are exposing yourself to the right light. And I'm a huge proponent of ancient wisdom. And ancient wisdom says if we can connect to the way the earth is supposed to be, which is the right sunshines and the right lights, and we've altered everything in our environment. We're sitting here under the most artificial lights on earth, and so red light therapy does the trick. It rebalances all of that. I'm a huge fan of it. And injuries.
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge for injuries. A couple times a week you do it. You can buy units for your home, but John Carter has a phenomenal bed. It's like a suntan bed.
I went there and checked it out a couple weeks ago. It looks phenomenal. Looks great. And something else. IV therapies, and I don't know which one specifically talked about, but what was his take on it? Because I know you've got somebody you work real close with.
He actually had IV therapy set up in the lobby.
Oh, wow.
This is how he embraced IV therapy, and we could all do it for free. That was how convinced he was. And like he said, the intravenous administration of nutrients and vitamins is what we call IV therapy. And because it bypasses the digestive tract, you can use high amounts. It super hydrates, because a lot of the visits to the emergency room is really not really due to sickness. It's due to the fact when you're dehydrated, you feel so bad that you think you're dying. You truly do, because the electrical connections of the heart and the muscles and everything doesn't want to work.
And real quick, water doesn't always work. Everybody thinks drinking more water. Sometimes you're supposed to. Don't you keep drinking your water, but it's the stuff that we miss, those electrolytes that you just talked about.
And I think it would take 4 days of drinking, and Gatorade's terrible, but the good electrolytes at Nutrition World, it still would take days to rebuild if you're truly been sick or you need hydration. And you can do this at the Be Well Forever Lab, which is actually right here on Lee Highway, right past Nutrition World, 1 block on the same side. And if you call it 423-531-2955, you can make an appointment for their IV therapy. They have every single thing Ben talked about, from the Myers cocktail to adding ascorbic acid, all at reasonable prices. Energy boost, immune boost, and hydration boost.
And so Ben's a big deal on that too. I wonder how often he does that.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't say. I think it's as needed.
You should follow him. I know you probably do now, but I've been following his Instagram, his TikTok, but his Instagram and Facebook, because for years I've been watching him treat him and his family. The whole family practices that kind of stuff.
See, I was kind of out of the loop. You've been watching him far longer than I have. And so I appreciate your feedback on that.
I'm glad you had a good trip. I'm glad you had a good time. You came back a little refreshed and ready to go.
Certainly did.
We got some good guests coming up today, too.
Oh, we do. I'm excited. All right, man. It's time to take a break. When we come back, we'll surprise 2 guests about personal stories, which I love. That plus more as we continue. For my co-host Clint Powell, I'm Ed Jones, and stay with us.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Vital Health Radio. It's a radio show where we talk about your health and how to live a better quality of life. The voice you're listening to right now is not of Ed Jones. He is the host of this thing, but he's turned it over to me for the next couple of episodes. I'm Clint Powell. I'm the co-host. I'm the guy that Ed is normally making fun of, but he's trusted me a little bit to fly the plane here and put me in the big boy chair. And this radio show is brought to you by our friends at the Vascular Institute of Chattanooga, so thank you to them. Here's what I thought. I thought, because I have another podcast, which all 3 of these gentlemen have been on, but it's 18 to 80, shorter podcast around things, aging, and health. The cool thing about having these guests in, I'm going to say hi to them in just a second, is instead of, and I'm going to tell everybody where they work, but we're not going to talk about what they actually do. That'll come up in the course of it. I just want to find out a little bit about their journey itself, how they got to the mindset that they're living in now. And I think Ed approved that idea. Ed, are you ready, sir? Real quick, how uncomfortable are you right now?
About a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Yes, I'm in the right seat of the plane, and I should be in the left seat, which is called pilot in command.
I've never heard a bigger lie from you. You're a 7 on a scale of 7. His body language spoke a little different. Let's say hi to our guest. Get him in here real quick. Gary Thurman, how you doing, sir?
I am doing awesome, man. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
We're going to bookend this with exactly what you do. The story won't be that, but tell everybody where you work, what you own, and what you do.
Yeah, Guardian Investment Advisors. We are a full-fledged financial planning firm. Work from anybody, 25 to 85. I mean, that's why I say it all the time. We try to help everybody we can to educate them on how money actually works and how they can take advantage of using money the right way. It doesn't matter if you're going into retirement or you're just getting started. That's what we do. We're here to educate people on money.
Yeah, and I love you're creating your own little media empire around that too. You're finding all kinds of ways to get the word out, because education isn't just classrooms like it used to be, or here's a pamphlet.
Yeah. Social media is a beautiful thing, and it touches a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So we're using it as much as we can.
Josh Porter, how you doing, buddy?
Great, man. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming in here.
Yeah.
All right, tell everybody what you do, and then we're going to dive into some questions.
Yeah, I own Optimize You, which is a hormone optimization clinic here in Chattanooga, and we've got a few locations. We just opened Cleveland as our 3rd location here, and similar to Gary from the standpoint of educating and empowering people, we just do it around health instead of finances.
Yeah, well, the pills I take every day and the supplements in my mindset are thanks to Ed Jones. I've been shopping with him since '89. Gary, if I'd have known you when I sold my billboard company and had money, you would be taking care of it. And if you ever say Clint looks good for his age, quote, it's thanks to Josh. So there we go. So the whole purpose of this thing, though, is because everybody knows Ed is Nutrition World. They align all 3 of you up with your business, what you do for a living. But a lot of people, they may get snippets of how you got to where you're at in just your mindset around health. So I thought we would start from that perspective. Let's start with the easy one in there. And let's talk, Ed, real quick. When you started this journey, and we're going to bounce around, all 3 of you, by the way, feel comfortable and be curious. If somebody says something, jump in. Let's ask questions. When did your journey start in health, sir? It just going back in time. Was it since you were a kid, or was it after you were a cop, before you were a cop, or what?
I would say age 14 is when the search and the passion began. You know, we don't have health problems at 14 and 18 and 25. We're blessed by Mother Nature, regardless of what we do and how bad stuff we put into our bodies. They only come usually, as we both, all four of us know, usually older. But now with Clint, it happened earlier.
Yeah,
He did so bad. But for most people, it isn't past 45 years old. But we're still building bad health, even though we don't feel it. So mine really happened then. And then, of course, you know, I got erectile dysfunction. I went to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. My hips started going bad about 6 years ago. And that was kind of the turning point. It really was.
So that was your one question you're going to get, because you can't, they're not being responsible with the airtime.
He can't keep it between the rails.
I was going to say, guess who's not in the co-pilot
we need
chair?
The bumper guards.
Yep, here we go.
So how did you get canceled off the air? Put Clint in control, and Ed felt like he had no restraint anymore. Well, I'm going to get to you. I'm going to come back to you in a minute and find out why you take all the supplements. But this is the real reason, as far as the guest comes in here. Gary, how much weight have you lost in the last couple of years? And I know there's a lot entwined in this, but
Right. Yeah, I'm right at 60 pounds.
Wow.
You know, I'd like to get another 10 off. So working hard on that. You know, it's kind of, you know, putting weight on is easy. Mm-hmm. We all know, and it's fun, right? Mm-hmm. Gaining weight's fun. Taking it off is pretty difficult. You can get that first 20, 30 pounds off pretty quick if you're religious about what you're doing. But, you know, to continue that journey, and like Ed and I and Josh and I have talked 300 times, it's lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle change, and you just got to, you know, get rid of some things in your life, get rid of some poison in your life, and fill that with better stuff. And that's what it's all about. I'm very happy where I'm at right now, but I would like to lose another 10 pounds.
Well, but here's the reason I was asking that, is because I think a lot of times, I've done it and we all do it, weight loss is a metric, and it's the best one everybody knows. Everybody's either wanting to gain weight, lose weight. That's the mothership of how we measure, air quote, health. But you had to have an aha moment in there somewhere. In other words, did you just get up one day, and was it, in my case, a lot of times I'll pass by a mirror and go, well, I'm not doing that again. I'm hiding all mirrors till I get better. What was your aha moment, or was it a health scare?
Well, kind of a little bit of everything. I mean, I used to be a fitness instructor here in Chattanooga. I mean, I taught fitness. I was in incredible shape. I loved it. Had some injuries, especially a motorcycle wreck. And once that happened, a lot of that fitness went away. Yet I kept eating and doing the things I shouldn't be doing, gained a lot of weight, right? So that weight came on pretty I'd say quickly, over the course of several years. And that aha moment that you're talking about was about 3.5 years ago now, when I actually was getting ready to shoot a TV show, and I was getting ready in the mirror. Yeah. And I thought I looked like Jay Leno. I mean, I had a square head, man. And I told my wife, I said, I am done. I'm done. And really got on that path right then, about 3.5 years ago. And then, you know, Josh got into my life, Ed got in my life, and that has helped me get to where I'm at and maintain. And I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I just want to be healthy. And I say this all the time, I just want to look good in my clothes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to look good. When I'm in front of a group of people speaking about money, I want to be presentable. So that's
there's
my main
a confidence that comes with it too. There's just a little bit. You can't really put your finger on it, but you deliver your message better. You move freer. You're just more comfortable in your own skin, and that comes across. And whatever you're trying to teach people, it just comes across. It 100%. Out. Yeah,
100%.
Josh, your journey's taken you a little bit of a few different places too. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to this, but how's your health journey? I didn't know you before 5 or 6 years ago, so what's that journey look like?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting when you asked me to share this, because this journey for me is so long removed that most people, I don't even think about it a lot of times, but I actually struggle with childhood obesity. And so when I was 15 years old, I weighed 254 pounds.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so this has become, I mean, when Ed was saying 14, I mean, it really is just what's in me now from a health standpoint. Because as long as I can remember, I was always the heaviest kid, the kid they poke fun of. And same thing, aha moment. I was back when they used to do superlatives. Remember that?
Oh, yeah,
school?
I do. Yeah.
I won best all around. I don't know if there was pun intended to that or not.
Yeah.
So my mom took me to JCPenney's, and we were trying to pick out some clothes, and she pulled out a 44 size pant, and it barely fit me.
And you were 15.
15. And
Wow.
I remember I was in the dressing room, and it just broke me. I mean, I just thought, I cannot do this. And so I started working out. I started, back then, what we thought was healthy, right? That was the fat-free phase of nutrition, and the Oleans and the Doritos. But I just was committed. I had tried as a kid, like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and nothing had ever stuck. But when I got into the gym at 15, and I had a goal. Obviously, I wanted to lose the weight, but I played baseball, and so that was a driver for me. It's like I really was competitive at that, and so I went on a journey. I lost 80 pounds before I turned 16. So in a year, I lost 80 pounds.
Wow.
And here's what I'll say, like, to present day, I think that the greatest gift that's given me is empathy. Like, when I sit across from somebody and they're struggling, whether it's weight gain, erectile dysfunction, whatever it is, I know what it feels like to not be comfortable in your own skin. And that's been probably the greatest gift that I could have asked for.
And with you saying that, do you guys, and Ed, jump in, do you guys agree with me that the mental aspect of being healthy has to be the hardest part of it? You can get up and go to the gym. You can get up and do crunches or sit-ups or whatever, but the mental part of it, if you're not mentally strong and you're not mentally dedicated to living this journey, Ed, I mean, that has to be the most difficult part.
I think it's the most important part. There's no doubt.
I like that.
And, each day we can be optimistic, but that doesn't happen month after month after month. We have to be able to stay the course when things are tough. We don't, I stayed the course during 3.5 years. As Josh knows, I was consulting him about my continual hip problems, and I just did not want to admit that they were worn out. So I did everything under the sun, and Josh finally hooked me up with Dr. Higgins. But I got both replaced 2 years and 3 months ago. But before that, I was going in the gym with a cane. And for the last year with a cane, but because I was not going to give up. I had to maintain that habit, because I've seen almost 90% of all people who do really well, and when they stop for more than 3 weeks, they sometimes never come back. And I was so fearful of not coming back.
I get it. And I think people, Josh, it's not all about a diet. Like, if you don't add that gym aspect into it, you're not getting the full effect of being healthy.
Especially at that age. I hate to say this, but your body, when you're 15, 14, your 20s, it's ready to burn. It's ready to burn through the calories, man. It's a furnace, and you just got to stoke it a little bit. And it's odd how it kind of changes. And we got about 3 or 4 minutes before we wrap this first segment up, but it's kind of odd how it kind of changes. I missed how important the food was. I had the activity down. I was a gym rat. I love the gym, right? And so I did not get trained on the food component of it. And so as time goes, it flips. Activity is still important, but really the food and what you're feeding your body is the main thing. I didn't know what the main thing that was the main thing when I was 25. Again, I just thought you could eat pizza and have abs. Why not? Well, that changes over time. And that's why I think it's important to find, and I'm listening to you three talk, your team, your vibe, your tribe, the people that kind of feed off you, because especially I got 3 business owners in front of me. You're all under the stress of running numbers and KPIs and data and growth and data. You've got major decisions, and yet somehow you've got to hang on to your why, or you can go right back down that rabbit hole. And if you don't have these people, like iron sharpens iron, do y'all talk quite a bit about between y'all three a lot about different stuff?
We talk a lot about different things.
But I'm saying business and fitness and everything.
Well, I think in so many aspects of our lives, as a business owner, I can't go to somebody who's not a business owner who understands. And that's not to say we're in a completely different category and we're better than anybody else. But it's like I can go and talk to Ed about some things that are happening.
Right.
Ed understands it because Ed's living it or has lived it, and he's got the wisdom. And Gary's the same way, where they're like, they've been a little bit further down the road, and so they're like, this too will pass.
Well, and think about this: all 3 of you are so good at what you do. How much trust do you have to have in someone else to know something you don't know? In other words, you're great at what you do, Josh, but when you call Gary up about something, he may, not just money, he just may see things in a different perspective. You're like, oh, dang, I didn't think about that.
I think when Josh and I talk, very little is about money. I mean, we talk about life, marriage, being a father, being a business owner. I mean, and it's great. Like, I am stressed out right now this is one of the first people I think to call.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's nice to have that. You know, I'm struggling with this part of health or so awesome to be able to go, I need help here with this.
You know what's really fun to listen to, and Ed, I know this has happened with me and you, and of course I'm not a business owner at that level, but it's really odd when you call somebody to talk to them about their hormones or their money or their nutrition. How often ends up talking about your marriage, your kids, and all of the other stuff in life that's really more important. Anyway, let's do this. Let's take our first break of this little 2-segment thing, and then when we come back, we'll spend a few more minutes. And I want to talk to you guys about how this journey's affected how you actually do go approach your relationships and your businesses, and the energy and stuff it takes, because that's a different part of this. And we might dive into how hard it is to maintain. That might be a pretty good one too. Hey, you're listening to Vital Health Radio. It's brought to you by our friends over at the Vascular Institute. I'm Clint Powell, along with the main man himself, Ed Jones, and we'll be right back with you. Hey, Ed, it's going pretty good so far. You liking it?
I'm impressed with your skills and talents as a aging man. Yes, I am.
I was like, aging man. I was going to say as a radio guy, but no, that's a way bigger quote. Thank you, Ed. That's right up there with you. Look pretty good for your age. I appreciate that. We're joined in studio by 2 great guests. They've both been on here before. They've both been on podcasts with all of us before. Gary Thurman with Guardian Investment Advisors and Josh Porter with Optimize You of Chattanooga. Thank you both for being in again.
Sure. Thank you.
We left off kind of, we had quickly talked about your stories, how your aha moments and where you're at. I just want to real quick, we'll talk a little bit about the mental component. Gary, you alluded to it, how hard it is. So let me ask you this before I get into how it's affected your jobs and what you do for a living. Is there one habit, and let's go with roulette. Ed, is there one habit that is easier for you than all the other ones to be disciplined about? Now, because maintaining where we're at doesn't mean you don't go up 10 pounds, you come back 10 pounds. I don't mean that, but is there one habit, though, that you go, that's a no-brainer, that one's easy, doesn't bother me, and is there one that you struggle with?
You know, after 68 years of living, I don't struggle with any of them.
So, Josh, you just make people in your house feel awkward.
I'm a robot.
Make
and anybody
up something.
Who knows,
Golly gee.
I don't struggle from the moment I poop in the morning to the time I go to bed. Okay. Oh, you did bring up a struggle.
Okay, here we go. It took a minute.
Sleep is probably the up and down struggle that I have. It is the only up and down struggle.
And you put a lot of effort
And Josh
into
has
it.
fixed all my other medical issues. We won't talk about it on this
At least
segment.
we were doing so minute and a half in, and he blew it again.
Yeah,
Way
thank
to
you,
go,
Josh,
dude.
again.
But so sleep is, and we've talked about this.
Yes.
And I think you put a lot of time into that, though. You really try as much as you can to set yourself up for success.
That's all. That's what we can do is set up for success and figure out why it's not as good as we want it to be. If I make mistakes like eating too late at night, my R ring is now proven to me. If I eat past 6 o'clock, my pulse rate goes up 20 beats a minute for 2.5 hours.
That's a lot.
Of course, that makes you not sleep as deep.
Wow.
So I have to finish all food by 6 p.m. and I can't have that nighttime snack that I love.
You know what my Whoops does now?
What does it do?
It gives me, it started this as an update last week. It tells you what your biometric age is.
Cool.
So it tells you how old you are.
What does it say?
For me, right now, I'm a year and a half older than I am right now. I'm a little over
It says
50
you're older
now.
than your age?
Mm-hmm. The biometric,
okay.
it says I'm closer to, my biometrics and how I sleep and stuff is closer to 60 than it is closer to 58. So, yeah. I got that going for me. So now let's talk about how to make Clint better. Selfish, narcissistic advice, if I can. Gary, what's one you struggle with? What's one that comes easy for you? This whole maintaining thing.
I think easy for me now is getting my tail up in the mornings and working out. Like, I love it. Everybody around me knows it, because if I don't get up and do that workout in the morning, I'm not really nice to be around for a while. I mean, seriously, it's such a stress relief, and I feel so good about starting my day with a really, really good workout.
What time is it? What time are you working out?
I'm a 4:30, 5 a.m. kind of guy.
Yeah.
That
most of
late?
the times. I know, 2:30.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought
He wakes up at
I thought about
midnight.
Ed the other day, because I woke up at 3 o'clock. I'm wide awake. I said, well, at least Ed's up. If I need to call somebody, I can call somebody. But I do think that getting up and working out, it has became a habit that is easy for me. Sleep has been a struggle of mine for many, many, many years. I will tell you, worked with Ed a couple months ago, and I've got now on a routine where, guys, I'm getting 6-7 hours every single night, and that is unheard of for me. It is so awesome. I was telling Tristan on the way over here, I said, I slept till 5:30 this morning, and I was so pumped. Like I got an extra hour and a half than I normally get, and it was awesome. I mean, I got a solid 8 hours of sleep last night. So sleep has become good for me now because I reached out to someone to help me.
Right.
I don't care to, you know my struggle. Red wine. I love red wine. I study it. I'm a connoisseur. I love how it's made. I love everything about it. But I have had to drastically cut that out of my life because you have a couple of glasses of red wine at night. You're talking about spiking your system. And all of a sudden at 1 o'clock, you're wide awake.
Well, it makes you feel tired, but you're not tired.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, that alcohol kicks in later.
Yeah.
But if I have a weakness, I don't care to admit it. I love red wine. And it's something that I've really had to work on, especially the last year of my life, to reduce that because it affects a lot of things.
But real quick, and Josh will come into you, but real quick, what you just said I think is important. A lot of times when we're starting this journey, whenever your aha moment out there is, your light bulb moment, well, look at what I've got to give up.
Yeah.
But you just talked about, look at all the stuff that I get. We don't, sometimes we don't focus on we only focus on the stick and not the carrot. We don't focus on, there's another life on the other side of this. It's not just about the sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah. There's another part to it.
Big time.
Josh, what's one you struggle with? What's one that comes easy?
Well, the one that comes easy for me is nutrition.
Really?
You know, I mean, I've always
Everybody at the table now does that. Well, no,
it's the same way. I think it was just, again, because I had to change that habit as a young kid. I just started to view food as fuel. And so I really, I mean, you could put cake, you could put something that's incredibly delicious in front of me. And it's not tempting to me. It's something that I'm just very disciplined on it. It doesn't bother me if somebody brings something in that, you know, and they're like, oh, you got to have this. Like, it's easy for me to say no to that. I like good food, but I just never get overpowered by that desire.
Well, one thing that I know that you offered, Josh, is the continuous glucose monitors.
Yeah.
That was a game changer for me because it told me all the trigger foods. And anyone who wants accountability can come to you at Optimize You and get, I would say, 4 weeks, which are two of those monitors. And it will alarm you as to this food, like cheesecake, does nothing to me.
Yeah.
I can eat a piece of cheesecake and
That's
it's flatline.
fascinating.
And I can eat caramelized onions and I look like a diabetic going soon into a coma.
Yeah.
So I picked out 5 foods that I had no clue. Well, all of those were putting on body fat, including inflammation. So we have tools now, as like Gary said earlier. You know, social media, if used properly, is a miracle to our life if we do it.
Can be.
And I want to say that, you know, Gary, I was on his podcast very recently. What is your podcast? Because I love the way that we had banter on that as far as informing people about information.
It's just Scenic City Spotlight. I mean, Chattanooga's the Scenic City. So all this podcast is about our fellow business owners, athletes, musicians, politicians. I'm just bringing them in, having a conversation with them. I'm blessed tomorrow morning. I get to go interview our buddy Austin Garrett.
Oh, that'll be good.
So Austin's going to be on the show tomorrow. And, you know, I've already spoke to Mayor Womp. I mean, there's so many different people that we've had on the show. It's just a lot of fun because you get to find out some things about people. When you asked Ed his journey about health, I already knew the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just asked him the same thing a few weeks ago. So it's just a neat Scenic City Spotlight. Go check it out.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. And Josh, we'll ask you about yours in just a second for Optimize You. But I want to say something on what you just said because it's really cool. When you hear, I've heard all your stories.
Right.
But every time, this is no lie, every time I hear you tell it, I get something different from it because I'm in a different place where I hear it, or maybe you bring up something you hadn't brought up before. I never heard your story, Josh, before, and so that's really very beneficial. I think. I want to stick on the food for a second because all of you are talking about how important it is. Are you a restrictive diet person? Are you a fasting person? Or do you each have a different way you approach food? Because I think that's pretty interesting too.
Yeah, I think Ed is similar in this. I really kind of picked this approach up from him, but I tend to carb fast. I don't eat carbs until later in the afternoon, and I usually block it off. So, you know, most of the time it's 3 to 7, maybe 2 to 6, where I only consume carbs during that time. And I'd say 90% of the time, right? So I eat high protein, high fats during the day, and then really limit my carbs until later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
When do you stop eating?
Generally speaking, 8 o'clock.
But you go to bed later than I do.
I go to bed around 10:30.
I'm a high protein guy, just a high protein guy. You know, the carb, I need to know more about how you guys are doing the carb fast. I always have a set goal of so many carbs per day, right? And sometimes I go over that and sometimes I go under that, but I just try to do high proteins, good quality fat. it gives me energy. I mean, and it just gives me so much energy. That's why I love doing that diet.
Ed, anything you want to add to the timing of the food before I ask about how you got into, how it affects your work?
I do. I have found through all my mistakes of my life that the timing is crucial for my metabolism. Now, I do have an odd metabolism. I mean, people like Clint, gain weight by looking at food, and I don't.
I'm fatter for listening to you, but go ahead.
Yes. And Gary even said, it's hard to lose weight. No, it's actually I had that other problem, which I fought for weight my entire life,
right.
And everybody says, "Oh, how lucky you are!" But if you want to be a bodybuilder and have you want to weigh 180 and your body wants 150, it's a struggle. It really
Absolutely.
is. And I was just in the contest Chattanooga Fitness 3 weeks ago, and I about killed myself with super dieting at the end, which I'm not going to do again. I felt like I had one foot in the grave.
You were so much fun to hang out with. So he was just a hoot, as the young kids are saying nowadays. A hoot is what he was. I wanted, because we are radio, so we do have limitations of time. I do want to spend a few minutes though talking about how it came. Part of what you do for a living now is the health industry. And Gary, I want to start with you on this one, and Ed will come to you and Josh next, because of all the three of you, you're the one that
I'm odd.
Well, you're the one that has helped people with their financial health, but you, even the last couple of years of your life, have learned how to combine your journey with what you're learning from your friends, and now bringing it to what you do for a living.
Yeah, so we just try to really tie in the health aspect to the financial aspect. I say all the time, why are you so worried about your money, or why are you so worried about your financial health if you don't have your health in general to enjoy your money? Why are you working so hard for retirement and then you're going to die in 5 years? Yeah. I mean, and I don't mean that to be rude. I'm just saying there's things people can do now to help that longevity. We're living longer. It's just proven fact. So let's live longer, healthier. And so we're trying to push that over to our clients as well. It's little things like educating them on what a 20-minute walk on a treadmill will do per day. It's amazing what little things like that can do. Cutting out that latte every day. I mean, there's so many different things that come into play financially, mentally, and your health. You got to put them all together.
Well, I'm going to come to Josh, but you just said latte. That helps your money and your health.
That's right.
That's a 2-for-1 right there.
Stay away from that sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Josh, and did your journey push you into kind of what you do now that I know that? I never knew that before, so that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I'd say yes. I have always been in some form of healthcare. As right out of college, that was kind of my focus. When it came to longevity and preventative health, which is now where I find myself, that was after 11, 12 years in traditional medicine. And, I had the opportunity to see how what the direction of, Western medicine, traditional medicine was going. And unfortunately, for the most part, continues to go in that direction, which is sick care. And for me, it's not about keeping people sick. It's about making people well. And, I had a personal story where I was taking care of a patient in the ER during COVID. He passed away. He was polypharmacy, so he was taking probably as many, prescription medications as in the little baggie of Ed supplements over there, right? 60 pounds overweight, smoker, multiple comorbidities. And, the thought that hit me that night, and I'll never forget it, was there was nothing we could have done differently.
You couldn't have saved him.
Could not have saved him.
No.
I mean, by the time he came to us, it was just too far. But what if somebody could have had a conversation with him 20 years prior? And that just kind of ate at me until I thought, you know what, like, the time I was in my early 40s, and I thought, I've got plenty of years here to continue to practice medicine. How do I want to do it? And I just had that epiphany of like, you know what, I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to try to give somebody an opportunity on the front end to make a lifestyle change to keep them healthy.
So when they're in that bed, maybe 10 years down the road, they're in a better place to fight.
That's right.
Because they had somebody like you.
I mean, I'll use a quick example. It's called sarcopenia, which is muscle loss. Okay. Sarcopenia is the number one comorbidity associated with mortality. So practically what it means, which we lose, women especially lose about 2% of their muscle mass after menopause annually. So when it gets hard for Clint Powell to get up out of that chair, you're in trouble. So we all are going to face our maker, right? There is a time where we're not trying to prevent that necessarily, but what I'm trying to do is enhance your quality of life as we enhance longevity, because I want you to be able to fight harder when illness arises.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a great part. Ed, how about you? Your journey because you went into policing. So the nutrition world part of this, is that just a natural evolution, or were there other things you were even looking at instead of going into health food stuff?
No, I think I was born to do this. I connected with some epiphany at age 10 or 11 that food was powerful. I didn't say it was food was medicine or healing, but I knew there was some major impact. And I do want to comment what Gary was saying, which is, he has brought in the importance of both finances and health. But what we don't talk about is I see a lot of people who have worked very hard to be healthy, but they don't do anything for finances.
Absolutely.
And then what happens when they retire, Ed, you know what? I just can't buy the supplements I did. I can't afford the gym I was going to, and it kind of spirals them down because it gets downtrodden. They've been doing this for 15, 20 years and they've maintained great health, and now they're getting Social Security alone.
Yeah.
And I think the two most important things for us older people to maintain a sense of stability is our health and our money. And we don't talk,
agree.
the health people don't talk about the money, and the money people don't talk about the health, but you and I do.
That's
We're
right.
the only two I know about that actually talk about that.
It's so much fun. It's so rewarding, right?
Yeah.
It's so
It is
rewarding when
rewarding.
you sit down with someone and you can make a little change in their life on the financial side or on the health side. It's like, who else can I talk to?
Yeah.
God, send me somebody else. I need somebody else to fuel that fire to.
Well, I can say, you're eating too many carbs, where you can say, I'm sure you have a pocket full of, if you just do this and this, in the long run, it will make a
That's
difference.
absolutely 100%.
And nothing you advise is going to work in a week, and nothing I advise will work in a week.
right.
We are doing a little bit longer term kind of advice.
You got to be a commitment.
I'm going to steal the show back because we got to wrap it up as we run out of time here. I do want to say a quick, Josh, tell everybody where they can find all of your media stuff and your podcast as well, please, before I wrap it up.
So on social media, Optimize You Chat, Optimize You Cleveland. We have a podcast called Optimize Health, where we, very similar to what Gary does, we just it tends to focus more on health experts in our area, and it's broad topics. It ranges from hormone therapy to gut health and neurosciences and different things. But Optimized Health Podcasts on Spotify.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to do if you're okay with everybody, since we're hard out right now, and I'm going to take us out. Nutrition World, Guardian Investment Advisors, and Optimize You, Chattanooga. I will put my 2 cents. I've not given any advice. I will say your journey to your health, your wealth, your nutrition, a better quality of life, all it starts with is a free conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in this room that says that you owe me $10 for a phone call or just to stop by and talk to them. So I would encourage you, if you heard anything in this, just to go, it's a free conversation, and it always that conversation may hold in it your aha moment.
That's right.
To start your journey down the road.
And you can always find me on Tinder. nutritionw.com.
Yep. And that's a perfect way to end this. He can explain that to his girlfriend later, ladies and gentlemen.